All right. And hello and welcome to the Total Health Equation Show or podcast, or I don't know if I want to call it show or podcast yet. I still haven't figured that out. Anyway, hello. Welcome to today's episode. Today we're talking all about the all or nothing trap, one of the 12 cognitive distortions that really kind of plague our mind. They are what cognitive distortions are basically broken thought patterns that do not serve us in any meaningful way. And yet we constantly are falling victim to it. We are constantly, even though we know it doesn't make sense to think this way, we are always constantly falling victim to these things. Perfectionism, overgeneralizations, discounting the positives while magnifying the negatives, as well as the all or nothing mentality trap. And that's the main one we're going to be talking about today. Okay. Today, we're talking about how to finally break free, why perfect is the enemy of progress, and what you need to be doing instead. That's what today's all about. That's what we're talking about today. And that's what I'm going to teach you. So, hey, if you're here, if you're listening, fantastic. If you're new here, welcome. Glad you're here. And if you are a long time listener, long time watcher, or even a long time lurker, welcome again. Like, thank you for being here. Like, I'm so happy that you're here. So, yeah, this is essentially to help you recognize and reframe the black and white thinking that causes so much self sabotage. It is probably the leading method of self sabotage is this all or nothing trap. So, picture this: you've been crushing your diet all week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. The scale's going down, life is good, you feel amazing, clothes are fitting better, you have more energy, right? And all these things. And yet then you have this, something happens, life comes up, and you know what, you're just gonna have you've been good all day, all week, all month, and you're gonna treat yourself. You're gonna have a little, you're gonna have one single cookie, and that voice whispers in the back of your mind, hey, you blew it. You might as well binge. And then boom, by Monday, you've gained 5 pounds. And now you in this downward shame spiral of guilt and awful feelings. And now you're saying, oh, God, I screwed up. I might as well keep screwing up, and might as well keep going. And then I'll just start over again on Monday. Does that sound familiar? So which of these kind of all or nothing traps do you battle with the most? Sorry. I don't know if you can hear it. But my daughter is like going in the kitchen, which is like just down the hall out the door. Um, so forgive me if I just start laughing. That's why, because I think it's so cute. It's so funny. So which of these all or nothing traps do you tend to fall into? Or if any of these sound familiar, one bad food ruins the entire day. If I can't work out hard, why bother at all? Like if I can't work up a sweat, it's not worth it. It's not a good workout. Or I'm going to start over Monday again. Or you know what? I already had sugar today. Screw it. The diet starts tomorrow. I failed, and therefore I'll never figure this out. Like, which of these sound familiar? For some of you, it might be all of them. For some of you, there might be a lot that I missed. So for some of you, there might actually be none of these, which is lucky you. But it's important to realize that this isn't a willpower failure on your part. It's a cognitive distortion, a glitch in your thinking that's hijacking your results. Think of it like this: willpower is you just trying to push a boulder uphill. It's exhausting, right? And your willpower determines how high up that hill you get. It doesn't always determine whether or not you succeed, but it determines how high up that hill you get. Regardless, the result's the same. You get exhausted. A cognitive distortion is your brain's GPS that keeps rerouting you into the dead ends, right? It's frustrating, but it's fixable. A glitch is fixable. We can fix the software. We can fix the thinking. And so when you think I ruined it, I might as well binge, that's not the truth. That's the mental glitch that I'm talking about. Because what that does is it ignores all your progress, right? You ate well all week, but you had one slip up, and that's what you're focusing on, and that's what glitches the brain. Or it blows small choices out of proportion. Like one cookie does not equal failure. One cookie does not mean you blew the whole thing out of the water. And number three is it makes quitting feel logical. Again, you step on the scale that you hit the panic button because you went up a couple pounds, you freak the hell out, and now you go on this big downward spiral. Again, we know that doesn't make sense. We know logically when we step on the scale and it bumps up a few pounds and we hit that panic button, that binging is definitely not going to fix the problem. Binging is definitely not going to do the thing that we're trying to do. In fact, it will make us go backwards. We know that logically, and yet we still convince ourselves that that's the right thing to do. Right? So, how do we fix? We need to spot the trick, and then we need to reroute our thinking. Right? So, an example of this would be just, oh, that's just my all or nothing distortion talking. Next meal, I'll just get right back on track. Boom. It's that simple. Instead of freaking out and calling yourself a failure, which by the way, you didn't do, nutrition isn't like life isn't a test. You can't fail at food, right? You can't fail at food. And so when you call yourself a failure, like all we're doing is realizing the GPS is wrong, right? If the GPS said to drive into a lake, would you do it? No. So we need to fix the GPS. That's all we're doing. So the science of self-sabotage. Our brain loves extremes. Your brain is wired for extremes. This is how we start to outsmart us. We have to stop and understand what's going on, right? I call this like evolution's shortcut. Like your caveman brain thinks safe food equals good. Poisonous food equals bad. And so we evolved thinking in this way that black and white thinking was very useful for our survival in a very long time ago. But our brain, our biology isn't evolving with society. And now we live in a society where there's actually a lot more gray area than there ever used to be. And today, what that looks like is it mislabels salad equals angel, cookie equals devil, right? Good versus bad, even though that's total nonsense. One cookie, like no one ever gained 5 pounds by eating a single cookie. It doesn't work that way. You cannot do that. And then on top of the fact that we have the diet culture, which is a $70 billion diet industry, profits by making you feel like you're never good enough. Right? We literally have magazines and books and ads on TV saying, eat this, not that, swap this for that. And it trains you to see food as some sort of moral judgment, as if there's some sort of morality attached to food. But in reality, food has no morality. Like by eating a food that you label as either good or bad does not make you a good or bad person. But we internalize these things. Oh, cookie bad, therefore I eat it, and I internalize that, therefore I'm a bad person. That's not how that works. Food does not determine your moral high ground, does not determine your moral standing. And the cost of thinking this way is stress, that constant guilt over being imperfect, out of making mistakes, or rebound binging, right? Forbidden foods become this thing we obsess about because your brain your brain does not understand negatives very well. So when you say don't eat this, avoid that, your brain's not thinking about the don't, it's thinking about the thing. And so, because you're spending so much mental bandwidth every single day saying, don't eat that ice cream, don't eat that sugar, don't eat that cookie, none of this, none of that, your brain is actually thinking, oh, these are important things to think about. So I'm going to think about them more frequently. And so now these forbidden foods, it's really called the forbidden fruit effect, right? When you tell yourself you can't have something, you suddenly want it more. And so now it becomes an obsession. And all it takes is once. All it takes is one slip up. If I can't be perfect, why bother at all? And so we binge. We go off the rails. And so the way we fix this is we have to understand that that's what's happening, that glitch is coming in. So we need to spot the pattern, right? When we start saying, if I can't be perfect, why bother? You need to catch yourself and be like, that's my caveman brain for oversimplifying things again. That's not true. Right? And then you need to add nuances. That's my caveman brain oversimplifying things again. Food isn't good or bad. It's just fuel, it's joy, or sometimes it's both. And then laugh at it. Laugh at the absurdity of diet culture. Oh, look, another magic pill. Hard pass. Think of it like you're updating your software. Your brain's old survival caveman mode needs a patch update for modern life. That's all it is. That's what we're doing. And the brain is trainable. We know this. We know that thought patterns are trainable. So you need to catch yourself when you're having these thought patterns and stop and reframe it in your mind. If you don't, the vicious cycle continues of restriction, failure, guilt, binge, repeat. Again, it's important to understand that your brain is not broken. It is stuck in a software glitch. And this is how we start to update it. Because if we don't, again, you starts with restriction. You slash calories, you cut out entire food groups, and then your body goes into, oh no, it's famine alert, right? I'm literally dissolving. The amount of mass I am carrying around is literally dissolving. I'm not bringing in enough food and nutrients and building blocks to even sustain my body's current level of mass. That is by definition under eating. So your body starts going into famine mode, right? And so you restrict, sometimes down as low as 1,200 calories, right? We've all seen that, heard that 1,200 calories. Some people come less. I've had a client coming to me saying that they were eating 800 calories, not losing weight. Big red flag, right? But they restrict calories so much. And then suddenly they break the rules by having a single cookie, and the brain screams, see, I told you couldn't do it. You held yourself to the standard of perfection. You couldn't do it. I told you you're a failure. Now go prove yourself correct, because there's the guilt. I ruined it. Stress hormone, cortisol skyrockets. With it comes more and more cravings, right? And now your body's panicking and freaking out. And now you're in this fight or flight mode. And now you're going into eat everything mode, right? You everything in sight. You gorge through the pantry, the chips, the ice cream, the candy, the sugar, everything. And now you feel so gross and sluggish because you just binged and ate everything. And now you go, you know what? Like, you know what? When Monday comes, I'm gonna do better this time. Next week I'll be good. Next week I'll be perfect this time. Therefore, the restriction starts all over again, and then you go back into feeling like a failure. Then you go back to feeling guilt once you make one small choice that was delicious, and now you're beating yourself up over it. So then it goes into a full binge again because you don't like feeling bad, right? What is it in Austin Powers? I eat like a fat bastard goes, I eat because I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy because I eat, right? It's a vicious cycle. And like, that's the reality of it. Most people are falling into this trap, but it's not your fault. Your brain is wired for this survival software, and it misreads signals all the time. It misreads diets as change, and change equals a threat to your identity, a threat to the status quo, a threat to the known and familiar. The brain craves familiarity. The brain loves routines. If you start deviating from routine, it will try to sabotage you to pull you right back. It's also a threat to social acceptance, because people are going to see you differently. You are becoming a different person. Is that version of you that you're becoming going to be accepted by the people around you? You don't know. Biggest fear in the world is the fear of the unknown. Misery loves company. It's better. What's the saying? Oh God, the saying just came into my head and then it left. Oh no. It's like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So if the situation you're stuck in currently is familiar, even if you hate it, your subconscious would rather suffer in the devil that you know rather than try to do something different. Because something different, you don't control the outcomes. You don't know what that's going to be like. That's scary. And so that's going to trigger that self-sabotage response. And the harder you restrict, the louder the binge urges get. So how do we fix the glitch? How do we control, alt, delete your mindset, right? First off, we need self-awareness. You need to be aware that this is a thing that you struggle with. And then when they show up, you need to spot it. Like I said, this is just my survival instinct overreacting. Then delete the guilt, right? Your body is doing its job. It's supposed to do this. My body is doing its job. I'm going to go do mine. And then you have to start installing new programming. Regular meals, eating more food, more volume foods, no famine panic. Therefore, flexibility trumps perfection. And like a computer stuck rebooting, you need to interrupt the cycle and integrate better choices, better coding into your brain. You're recoding your brain. So let's go through the 5 simple steps to break the all or nothing cycle. Again, number 1, catch the lie. And then you have to ask, catch the lie, because now you have to ask, and you can do that by asking yourself a question. Would I say this to my best friend? Would I say this to my son? Would I say this to my daughter? Would I say this to my wife or husband? If they ate one cookie, would you tell them you ruined everything? Start again on Monday? Probably not. 1, because that would make you a terrible person, a very unreliable, not fun partner. But the moment you say it, you realize how dumb that sounds. So do this. When critical thoughts hit, imagine talking to your best friend instead. Like, screw talking to yourself, saying, I'm a failure, blah, 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 and going down the vicious cycle. Be like, hold on. If my best friend did this, what would I say to them? You'd probably show them some compassion, some empathy. You'd understand that the situation that they're in is very stressful. Maybe life has been throwing them curveballs left, right, and center. You don't know. But if you did know, then you'd understand. But you know your life. You know what you're going through. You know that life is sometimes just awful to us for just brief periods of time or even long periods of time, and things are going to happen. And so when critical thoughts come, like self-critical thoughts hit you, imagine like you're talking to your best friend instead. Step out of your immediate subconscious, step out of your immediate responses and be like, okay, I'm starting to get down on myself. Would I speak to my best friend the same way I'm speaking to myself right now? What would I say? Then step 2 is understanding the 1% rule. Small steps trump doing nothing, always. Can't work out for an hour, move for 5 minutes. If you ate off plan, just make sure that the next meal is the healthy one. The only falling off track is inevitable. Everyone does it. I did it. I did it yesterday. Yesterday, I was supposed to play Dungeons and Dragons with a group of my best friends. And so to prepare for it, my wife and I bought a big like meat and cheese and cracker platter, and we were going to share it with everybody. But then it got canceled. And so what happened? We ended up, my wife and I just ended up eating the whole platter to ourselves. It was gross. It stopped being good like a quarter way through. I was no longer enjoying it. I just felt sick afterwards. And yet I just kept going because that's my weakness. That's my kryptonite is finger food. That is that'll get me every time. If it's right in front of me, I will snack on it no matter what. Which is why I don't carry snack foods in the house. But I gorged yesterday. Absolutely ate way too much cheese, fake meats, and crackers. God, was that gross. And yet, I didn't stoop in it. I didn't beat myself up over it. I just made sure that the next meal was a good meal that got me right back on track. And now I feel fantastic. In fact, I actually set a new record for myself in the squat this morning because all those extra calories went towards a better workout. So, hell yeah, amazing. And that's how you can think about it. It's like, yeah, you fell off plan, but you know what? I'm hitting the gym tomorrow. I'm going to use those extra calories to lift even heavier than I normally would. Hell yeah. That's a really good way to think about it. But regardless, the only thing stopping you from just getting right back on track is you and your beliefs around how this is going. And why it works is because progress compounds. Every small decision you make is like pennies slowly turning into dollars, slowly turning into $5, slowly turning into $100 and more and more. It compounds over time. It's those consistent small actions that you take day to day that create the outcome. You cannot control the outcome. You cannot control what happens necessarily, what the end result is going to be. But you can choose your actions. Those are always within your power. And since it's actions that create outcomes, you might as well focus on the actions. What can you do next? How can you do one healthy thing right now to get yourself back on track and start building momentum? That's the 1% rule. What's one thing you can do right now to get yourself back on track and build momentum? Step 3, you need to start changing your words. Words have power, right? We all hear the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is almost correct. Other people's words have no power over me, but my words do. How I talk to myself absolutely has power over me, my mindset, my mood, my attitude. When I say I ruined it, no, I'm just recalibrating. I have to eat clean versus I get to nourish my body today. Do you see how one feels trapped? How one feels like I have to do something, like rules are being forced upon me versus I get to nourish my body today? That's pretty awesome. That's empowering. It now feels incredible to be able to do. I can only imagine. I don't know if you could hear this, but I think they gave my daughter one of those like metal cooking pots, cooking pans, or like, yeah, cooking bowls, those like silvery steel bowls. And I assume a spatula, and I just hear her going bang, bang, bang. And it's really funny. I don't know if you can hear it or not. But yeah, the words you choose matter. They have a lot of power. One of my favorites, and say this out loud, one of my favorites is I switch with can't with don't. Because again, one of them sounds like rules being forced upon you. I can't have that. I can't eat that. I can't eat carbs. I can't eat sugar. I can't eat cookies. I can't eat ice cream. I can't eat that right now. I'm on a diet. I can't. I need to eat clean. You see how restrictive that feels. We are human beings. We don't like to feel enclosed. We don't like to feel claustrophobic. We don't like to feel like oppressed in any way, shape, or form, right? We don't like that oppressive weight of rules and restrictions. So if you switch I can't with I don't, no, thank you. I don't eat ice cream anymore. Or no, I don't eat chips. No, I don't eat ice cream. I don't eat cake. I don't eat this. I don't eat sugar. You see how much more powerful that feels? I'm taking the power. I'm making the choice, my own empowered choice. I don't treat my body like a back alley dumpster. I don't treat myself like shit. I don't eat that crap anymore. And you see how much more powerful that feels, how empowering that feels? Like, I don't make those choices anymore. I don't do it. I just don't partake. And suddenly it feels like it feels powerful, like you're taking your power and owning it rather than like you're being oppressed in some way. And all I did was switch I can't with I don't. And that's all I did. So change the words you use and watch what happens. Say it out loud and you'll feel a difference. Step 4, embrace good enough. A lot of the times when I'm taking on new clients or even when I'm doing a challenge, like a public challenge, a lot of the times, and the very first thing I say is we need to embrace imperfect action because too many people wait for things to be perfect, for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect circumstances before they try doing anything at all. And that keeps them stuck in this procrastination hell, and they never get anywhere. They procrastinate for years. And then they go, man, I wish I started earlier. Take messy action. Take imperfect action. Focus on doing the thing first, then focus on getting good at it. Don't try to be good at it right away because then you'll never do anything. Everything is a skill. Treat everything like a skill. And did you know that if I say, hey, 100 hours of practice, do you think you'll be good at this? Probably. 100 hours of practicing something. you'll probably get pretty good at it. Even if you practice wrong, you'll definitely have made some progress after 100 hours. All that is 18 minutes a day. 18 minutes a day for a year, and you'll hit 100 hours of practice. Problem is, most people are too goddamn impatient. They want it now, and they're not willing to put in a year of messy action because they expect it to be perfect immediately. And so when they are perfect and they don't get the results they want, they quit. So it turns out human beings don't like to suck at things. And actually, I was having a conversation this morning when I was coaching class, when I was coaching CrossFit class. We were doing heavy deadlifts today, and someone was like, "Man, this is hard. Like, this feels hard today." And I looked at him and said, "Yeah, it's hard, but sorry, mosquito. Yeah, it's hard. But just because something's hard is not a reason to not do something. In fact, that's the worst reason to not do something, just because something's hard. Because you're basically saying, I have no resilience. Here's my proof. But I bet you won't admit that. Yes, something's difficult. When you're bad at something, you're going to suck. Embrace that suck. Lean into it and embrace good enough. Admit to yourself when you skip a workout and just tell yourself that's okay. Admit to yourself when you don't hit your protein goal, and that's okay. Take that responsibility. And that's okay. Because the truth is, nobody is perfect. Social media and what you see online is the highlight reel. That's all people will ever show. People don't like to show their vulnerability. People don't like to show that they're bad at something. People don't like to show that they struggle. They'd rather trick you into believing that they have the perfect life. Truth is, all the people online that you see with like chiseled abs and great physiques are either A, photoshopped, or two, they got really lean, took 1,000 photos in a single day, and then now they have enough content to post all year round, no matter what they actually look like. No one's imperfect, especially not what you see on social media. Learn to embrace messy action. Learn to embrace imperfections. Lean into them. Nobody loves people because they're perfect. In fact, when people come across as too perfect, we're adverse to that. We lean away from that. So why are we chasing perfection to begin with? When we know that when we see somebody who's too perfect, we don't like that. Seems off. Can't relate to that. But people can relate to struggles. People can relate to frustrations. People can relate to the things that are bothering you. People, God, how many times has this happened when you have heard someone express their frustrations about something and you go, oh my God, me too. Like you struggle. Oh my God. I thought I was alone in that. Thank God I'm not alone. I thought I was just going crazy. Right? When people are struggling, it validates your own experience. It feels good. So lean into that. Embrace that you're not going to be perfect, and that's totally okay. And the fifth thing that you need to do is go back to your identity. Stop calling yourself an all or nothing person and start calling yourself somebody who bounces back quickly. I am somebody who recovers fast. Every time you mess up, say, this is just a part of my comeback story. Like a basketball player who misses a shot. Like Michael Jordan used to take 10,000 shots a day. Think about that. Do you think he hit every single one of them? Do you think he quit after his very first missed shot? No. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made it to the best at all, right? If they quit the moment things got hard, the moment they messed up one time, nobody would remember his name. Not once. Thomas Edison tried 10,000 different attempts at making the light bulb before he finally got the first prototype to work. And when he was asked about it, hey, like what kept you going? How did you keep going after 10,000 failed attempts? And Thomas Edison corrected him and said, I never failed once. I just found 10,000 ways not to build a light bulb. 10,000 failed attempts or 10,000 ways not to build a light bulb. How you frame it is up to you. So every time you mess up, tell yourself, this is just a part of my comeback story. I am somebody who bounces back fast. I am somebody who doesn't dwell on their imperfections or their mistakes. Because again, the words you use matter. The words you use forge your identity. As soon as you say, I am this person, your mind takes that as truth and logs it into the harder and deeper into the subconscious and into that hardwiring to create more glitches. Your identity is kind of like a thermostat, right? Where let's say that you have it set to 20 degrees and you start burning hot. You start doing so well. You start losing the weight. Your pants are fitting better. You're getting more energy. You're not binging anymore. Your pants are fitting better. That shirt is fitting better. You're like feeling more vibrant. You're sleeping better. Your bloat is gone down. You're having less migraines. You have less hot flashes. And then your identity kicks in and goes, oh, wait a second. This isn't who we are. And so it's going to jump on the first opportunity it can to sabotage you. Oftentimes in the form of, I stepped on the scale and it bumped up 2 pounds. And that's when your brain starts to rationalize, making the choice that you know logically doesn't make sense. So you need to start rewiring your own mind. Become a bounce back person. Change your identity. Change the way you talk to yourself. So again, the 5 simple steps to break the all or nothing cycle. Catch the lie. How would I speak to my best friend? The 1% rule. Small steps over doing nothing. Make your next meal the healthy one. Progress compounds, turns into hundreds of dollars. Change your words. Switch from can't to don't. Take back your power. Go from I can't have carbs to I don't eat sugar. Embrace good enough. Embrace messy action and embrace imperfections. And then change your identity. Rewrite your internal story. I am somebody who recovers quickly. And this is exactly how my client Sarah lost 27 pounds by breaking the all or nothing cycle. She used to go to the point where she would eat one cookie and then spiral into a week-long binge, thinking, I'll just start over Monday. She would lose 7 pounds, gain 10. And she was struggling to lose the same 10 pounds 4 different times in a year and a half. And that was taking an emotional toll. She hated looking in mirrors. She would skip girls' nights, and she'll say to herself, "I'll go when I'm good, when I'm good again." And then she cried over grocery lists, like literally cried making a grocery list because she didn't like the foods that she was eating, but she felt that's what she had to eat in order to be good. And this all came from this black and white thinking. Food is either good or bad, clean or dirty. And then she would go from extreme 1,200 calorie days, and she would do that for 3 or 4, maybe 5 days, and the weekend would hit, and she'd go on 3,000 to 5,000 calorie binges. Her energy would crash, so she couldn't play with her kids without needing a nap herself. And then eventually, the lie that she was believing was like, if I'm not perfect, then I'm failing. And one day, her 6-year-old came up and said, Mom, why are you always on a diet, but you're never happy? And that killed her. And in the Journal of Obesity, there's a study done in the Journal of Obesity that all or nothing thinkers are 3 times more likely to regain lost weight than people who don't even diet at all. And so the solution is we did exactly what we talked about. We spotted the distortion, and then she wrote down, she would write down, I ruined it, but then reframed it to I'm recalibrating. She embraced the 1% rule. When she missed a workout, she would then just go and just dance with her daughter for 10 minutes. She swapped, I have to eat clean, to I choose foods that make me feel good and strong. It was empowering. And she did exactly what I said. She swapped the can't with don't. And she embraced this progress over perfection. Where one day, where basically every day for a month, she would take a picture of her real meal prep, and it was messy, and half of the time it was takeout. But she wanted to normalize that not being perfect is okay. She wanted to normalize imperfection, and that's great. And because of that, she improved her relationship with how she prepped her meals. She could keep those foods that she would normally classify as bad in her diet, and she still lost weight. And then she started to say, I am someone who enjoys balance. And the result is, and her result was she lost 27 pounds in 6 months while keeping pizza and wine without the guilt. She eventually ran a 5K with her older daughter because she had energy for 12-hour shifts, which was something that she never thought she would ever have again in her life. Like, this was back, like, she was beginning to feel more energetic than she did in her 20s. And the best part is that she ate cake on her birthday with no binge and no guilt, and said that she finally feels like she's free from the food noise, free from the food guilt, free from the food drama. And now she's feeling incredible. And by the way, she's now actually at 30 pounds down as of the recording of this. She, in her check in this morning, she's officially at 30 pounds down. And the only thing we need to work on was this all or nothing way of thinking. Because there's also the fact that, no, you're actually not an all or nothing person, which I know might be contrary to what you might believe. But where else in life are you an all or nothing person? Like, if you forget to brush your teeth on Tuesday, do you do the same thing and go, screw it, I'll start again on Monday? No, because that'd be gross. That'd be disgusting. Like, please don't do that. Please just brush your teeth the next day. Like, there you go. Just, you get right back on track, right? Right? You just get right back on it. Weird. Do that with your diet. If you're driving home from work and you get a flat tire, do you go, darn it, well, I'm an all or nothing person, you better slash the other three? No, because that'd be stupid. So don't do that with your diet. That doesn't make any sense. Or if you're a parent, this one's really, every parent has made mistakes in their parenting journey, right? And yet, did you put your kid up for adoption and then just try again? Probably not. No, you probably recognized the mistake you made and then pledged that you would do better. So do that with your diet. And that's it. That's all I've got today. Look, if you want the exact cheat sheet, this exact same reframe cheat sheet that helped Sarah drop those 24 pounds and counting, 27 pounds and counting, comment the word freedom below, and I'll send you that exact same reference sheet that she had. That being said, have yourself a wonderful night. I'll see you again next week. I'll see you again a few times during the week. I've been getting a lot more involved in the Facebook group, especially. So if you're not in the Facebook group, what are you doing? Join the Facebook group. Link in the show notes if you're listening to the podcast, and link down below in the description if you're going to watch this on YouTube. But beyond that, have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.